Time Wasters. This is Corinne Connerino, aka Suburban Time Waster, here with another podcast review. In this podcast, I'll be reviewing the controversial game Rule of Rose, where an adult Jennifer recalls traumatic memories from her childhood. When Jennifer was a kid, her parents died in an airship accident. With no one else to care for her, she's sent to an orphanage where she joins a sinister society known as the Red Crayon Aristocrats, led by the Princess of the Red Rose. Their rules: find a specific gift for them each month, or die. Now, Jennifer must obey the Rule of Rose, with her only ally in this twisted world, a dog she calls Brown. Believe it or not, there will be no spoilers in this review. I usually save that for when the story is pretty much the gameplay, but due to the incredibly weak gameplay, like you wouldn't believe, I'm keeping this review spoiler-free. First, let me tell you that there is so much controversy surrounding this game that the UK banned it from their stores. The one most commonly stated is that there are lesbian relationships depicted between underage girls. While there is some truth to it, that never goes any further than what you see in the trailer, which is really just hand-holding, a kiss on the finger, and some stroking, which can get a little uncomfortable, I'll admit. There are also many complaints about violence perpetrated by children towards other children and animals, as well as pedophilia. I'd go into more detail, but I'm sure you enjoy sleeping at night. What many people don't get is that neither one of these things is presented in a favorable light. It's so that the player will despise and pity the evil little children while absolutely despising their headmaster. I know I wanted to kill him. I will say one thing. The game is very disturbing. As for how much, let's just say that if you can't handle the opening scenes, don't even think about getting this game. The makers say that their inspiration for Rule of Rose came from Grimm's fairy tales, but unintentionally shared similarities with the Lord of the Flies. The game explores a world where children try to establish a society without a strong role model present. Just like in Lord of the Flies, the answer is savagery. The difference is that the savagery here is more channeled and less random like it was in Lord of the Flies. Each level plays out like a chapter in a storybook, focusing on one specific character at a time. The characters are essential to the game and deserve their own section. The Duchess Diana is my absolute favorite. At the start, Diana is very condescending towards Jennifer, believing herself to be superior. She behaves very much like Regina George, in that she pretends to be friends with whichever member of the club she's talking to, while showing disdain for the one that isn't there. At one point, she talks to Eleanor about how much she hates Meg. At another point, she talks to Meg about how much she hates Eleanor. The only difference is that Diana isn't afraid to use death or torture in her schemes. So she's like Regina George, unhinged. Yet there are some scenes where you feel sorry for her, such as one scene that's truly disturbing, and yes, it does feature the creepy headmaster I mentioned earlier. The whole scene with Diana and the headmaster is so disgusting, it was making my skin crawl. It's enough to make you forget what a sociopath Diana truly is, at least until the headmaster leaves. The Countess Eleanor is just there. She doesn't approve or object to anything that happens in the game. The only thing noticeable about Eleanor is her love of birds. The Baroness Meg is malicious but not truly evil. I would choose to describe Meg as blinded by her love for Diana, a girl who manipulates her for her own ends. She creates the torture devices and believes that the people she inflicts them on deserve it thanks to Diana's manipulation, which you'll see in full detail in Meg's chapter, and it gets ugly. All I'm going to say is that be cautious if you have a bug phobia. Amanda is, like Jennifer, a member of the Red Crayon Aristocracy's lower class. She is the overweight girl begging for approval, yet she absolutely despises everyone, especially Jennifer, who she sees as competition for the approval of the aristocrats. Amanda is not only an interpretation of a possible future for Jennifer, but an interesting psychological study. Amanda, who has known nothing but cruelty at the hands of the Red Crayon, meets another girl who suffers from that same cruelty. Yet, instead of lending her a helping hand, giving her a friend, and maybe, just maybe, trying to team up with her against the red crayon, which 2 people against a bunch of them might not work out, but just giving some perspectives, Amanda chooses to abuse and manipulate Jennifer the same way that the red crayon aristocrats abuse and manipulate her. The main character, Jennifer, is the least interesting character in the game, which isn't all that uncommon with main characters, of course. She is timid and follows the rules of the aristocrats, hoping that things will get better. Unfortunately, that only makes things worse for her, and as soon as she's had all that she can take, she stands up for herself in a truly powerful scene. This might also be a clever metaphor for dictatorships and abusive relationships in that adhering to their rules will not end your suffering. The only way either one of them can end is by taking a stand. Brown is Jennifer's loyal companion, whose bravery is a contrast to her timid nature. He is the essence of a dog being a human's best friend. While the story and characters are amazing, the gameplay, not so much. As Jennifer, you use Brown to find items, many of which can be used as weapons. Unfortunately, Jennifer's attack plan is swinging the weapon around or taking random stabs while closing her eyes and hoping that it hits. Brown is useless in a fight, as he just stands there and barks, which is not typical of a dog at all. If somebody's threatening a dog's owner, it just goes on the attack, no questions asked. It felt like the developers were working very hard on the plot and then realized that they were making a game after the fact. Look, I get that Jennifer's never been in a fight before, but when I play a game, I don't want to fight a bunch of enemies trying to kill me the same scared, reckless way I'd probably fight in real life. Though I'd probably be dead in real life. At the very least, have Brown play a more active role. As I said earlier, he is a dog. After this, you're probably thinking, there are enemies, or we fight schoolgirls? Neither of which is the case. Instead, you're fighting enemies such as goats or deformed mermaids that will haunt your nightmares. I am not kidding. These are creepy aberrations formed from Jennifer's mind, which I'll admit is actually pretty clever story-wise, but does little to nothing for the gameplay except make you want to throw your controller at your TV. Though, thankfully, this game doesn't have a level up system, so you don't have to fight the enemies if you don't want to. Unless you get locked in a room with them, which, in that case, I wish you luck. Trust me, you'll need it. Unfortunately, that's not the worst part. The worst part would be that there are costumes with weapons that could actually kill enemies in one hit, but you can't wear them until you've beaten the game. By then, you probably won't want to play it a second time. Though there are aspects I like about the game, such as one detail where you're in a room with 3 storybooks, or 2, it's been a while since I've played it, and the storybook you pick is the level you play. It really sells the whole Grimm's fairy tales aspect, and shows just how distorted Jennifer's memory is, and now I remember it was 3, 1 for Meg, 1 for Diana, and 1 for Eleanor. The story and characters are brilliant, and the atmosphere is so chilling that you'll have to fight your fear just to finish this game. Trust me, I've had to conquer my fear many times just to get through one level. Unfortunately, the gameplay leaves much to be desired. Sad part is, had the game come out today, you could give it the Life is Strange treatment, with the focus being less on battle and more on exploration and choices. I give it 7 out of 10, and with that, my time wasting has come to an end. I hope you liked this podcast enough to give it a like, and if you want to see more from me, hit the subscribe button and click the little notification bell to stay up to date. You can also follow me on one of my other social media accounts, which you'll find in the summary, and leave a comment saying whether or not you've played Rule of Rose and or whether or not you agree with my podcast.